Denisha,
Hey,
how you doing?
good. How are you?
Hey, listen, I'm good. Listen, I'm just here chilling. First and foremost, you were super plugged in to these results. I was texting you. You said you were just crying your eyes out. Tell us, take us to the moment where everybody was on the stage. How were you feeling?
Yes. Well, for one, I was gonna get on here all, dolled up. I was gonna do my makeup and everything, and I just could not stop crying. I was like, I'm not gonna be able to do that. But just sitting there, even when they first started, like when they're like, okay, from 5 all the way down, I was like shaking. I had no idea what was gonna happen because in my head, like the top two, all right, I don't want to say who it should have been, but like, I'm gonna just say it. For me, it was Cam and Vic. Period. That's it. Straight like that, right? But I know the demographic of the voters, right? So I'm expecting a Rachel win. I'm expecting Kenzie. Yeah. I'm expecting Jordan. So I'm a little like, all right, I don't get how they got fifth, but like at this point, it doesn't even matter.
It doesn't matter
at all because they're about to snatch him up like with the quickness. It
really
really
for sure. For sure, and I said this in the interview. We weren't the interview. I said this on the show. We didn't have a guest. I said that y'all don't think A&T's gonna throw Victor a parade when he get back. y'all don't think that A&T at homecoming, Victor don't gotta pay for nothing. Victor might be carried on people's back at this point to every event. Okay, he'll go to the football game. They in the Big South. And he gonna be carried every event, man. Listen,
right.
Victor's feet not gonna touch the ground.
Signed, period, like for reul.
For sure. Like the male Jennifer Hudson of The Voice. That's gonna be his new tagline, all right? We're not calling him next John Legend. We're calling him the male Jennifer Hudson of The Voice. So we're not even worried about it. But let's reel it back. Right? So let's talk a little bit about you. So first and foremost, for folks that don't know you, tell everyone who you are.
All right, guys, I'm Denisha Dalton. I was on the season of The Voice, Team Legend. Vic represented us well. I'm from New York. I now live in Texas, but yeah, I'm a striving artist out here.
And you making it happen. So first and foremost, so I did my research, right? So I was looking at this article. I want to give a shout out to the local news affiliates because when I said the comments I was saying before, I was being very critical of the media, but I think the local news outlets did their thing. So I'm looking on the Warwick Valley Dispatch, right? Yep. And they did an article about you. And the first thing I saw is it was late one evening when Denisha Dalton bolted from the shower to answer her cell phone. Soaking wet, she hurriedly returned the missed call. The aspiring singer never expected the voice on the other end to confirm that she, in fact, had been chosen to blind audition on NBC's The Voice. Were you really in the shower, or was that just like a novel?
No, that was like dead serious. Like I was in the shower washing my hair. It takes me like an hour, 45 minutes to wash my hair. Then I get out and I see a missed call from my casting producer, and I'm like, because a couple of days earlier they had asked me to reshoot my audition because the sound or whatever. And I was like, oh, you know what? I think this is her just telling me like, oh, it's not gonna work, because I've gotten so many of those, oh, not this time. And then she's like, oh, you're going to blinds. And I'm like, wait, are you sure? Because there's usually another step before blinds. But because of COVID and everything, they're like, blinds, So I was like, do you mean like the executive round? Like, I'm just trying to correct her, right? And she's like, no, blinds. And I literally didn't have any clothes on. I had my towel and I like ran to my mom. I was like, crazy.
First and foremost, I'm glad you didn't slip on the water.
I know.
Oh my God! Don't like that. That would you would just been there. Like, did she want to be on The Voice?
Absolutely.
Like, no, she ain't knocked out. Like, golly. but hey, that's a story. So, what made you even decide to go on The Voice? Like, what made you choose that specific show?
I had been auditioning for The Voice since I was 15. Yeah. So when I literally have auditioned for The Voice, I can't tell you how many times. But it's always been something that I've always done. I've just always wanted to audition for these shows. So first it was X Factor, then that got canceled. And I was like, all right, I'll do The Voice. But interesting enough, this season, I didn't audition for it. They reached out to me, but so did American Idol at the same time. So I was literally talking to both of them at the same time. And then American Idol didn't work out. And then the same day that American Idol didn't work out, they asked me to reshoot my audition videos. I'm like, oh, this is just like a bunch of bad luck all at once. And then it happened.
Okay, so this is something that I've heard a lot, and we interviewed Victor on Monday for a pop-up live, and he said that he had tried out for The Voice before in 2019, and you know he didn't get it at that point, but then they saw the content on his page, and they then reached out again, and then he did the audition, and then the Glory situation happened, and then John turned around. So how did these shows work? So they reach out to you?
So it can go a bunch of different ways. They've reached out to me a couple times in the past too, but it still never went this far. But you can either send in, they do online submissions year round. So you can send it in whenever, and if they call you, they call you. Or you can go to like an open call specifically for that season. And then they do have people scouting like Instagram, YouTube, and all this stuff, and they'll reach out to you. So, or they'll even keep your, because we have to remember it's TV at the end of the day. Like, just because you get a no at an open call doesn't mean you're not talented. It's just not what they're looking for. So, like, next season, how they have Ariana Grande, they're probably going to find artists who would, like, fit her little vibe. You know what I'm saying? So, they'll keep information about artists that they like, and then they'll reach out to them on another season.
So you said all they're going to do, all they do is this, all they do is go to the Nick casting call. Okay, right. And then just do like a geofencing and just figure out which of them folks want to be the next Ariana Grande. Got it. No, okay. At this point, so I think that's interesting. So, like, how do you think you got yourself ready for this moment? So you were in college, you know, you were a music business major. Mm-hmm. So tell us about how you got to this point from going through college. You graduated in 2020. So talk to us about that.
So as we know, COVID hit 2020. So my senior year was cut short, and I was pissed. I was upset. Literally nothing was going my way, and I'm like, what am I about to do in my life? And I think it came at the perfect time though, because of that. Like, I didn't know what I was doing, and The Voice filled that time of like uncertainty for me, so I didn't have to worry about like what's next. So that definitely came at a great time for me.
Wow. So with The Voice, let me ask you this. So with that moment, so what do you think things would have been if COVID didn't happen? Do you think that things would have been the same? Would you have gone on tour? Like what like, do you think COVID changed anything, or was it just, hey, boom, we're here, we're rocking, nothing would have changed?
I don't know about this specific. I definitely would have auditioned again, because I always told myself I'm gonna always keep going, right? But there was a specific video that I posted that the casting producer reached out to me about, and I wouldn't have filmed that video if I was still in school. Also, I would have been preparing for law school, because I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to law school and be like an entertainment lawyer, take care of myself so nobody can rip me off with no contracts. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
But then I'm like, I'm not about to do law school online in COVID. That's a no for me. And so it definitely changed my path a little bit.
Wow. So one thing we talked about, now I want to really bring up, and I've been hearing this a lot recently, the butterfly effect. And essentially, if you guys know what the butterfly effect is, it's one thing can happen and it starts a chain of events that wouldn't have happened if this one thing didn't happen. So I think for you in this instance, COVID was that one thing.
Yeah. And
if you were in school, that would not have occurred.
Right.
So we're going to do this segment that, you know, we popularized for everybody, but this ain't new to you because you was watching last week, and I appreciate you. You were, it said one viewer, you were the one viewer.
A week. Yes, I was.
You were definitely there, and then we made it happen. So let's do this. So let's take a trip down memory lane. So I want to play a little bit of the snippet of you on The Voice,
okay,
right? And you doing your audition. And I want you just to walk us through it after we play it. So check this out. And it's not playing, okay? Like, you know what I'm saying? But never mind, okay? We're gonna do it like this, right? So you sang Zane's Pillow Talk, right? You sang Zane's Pillow Talk, and I'm looking at the screen right now, and when I tell you had on this leather jacket, black and white, all you had to do is put your fist up. You know what I'm saying? Telling you it is black power. You know what I'm saying? You had the busso, you had the Afro puffs, man. You was rocking it. So I want you to take us there, man. Walk us through your audition. You got 3 chair turns. So walk us through the moment of you doing the live audition to you getting those chair turns in that moment where you chose your coach.
Gotcha. Also, Dion, I love you. I see you out there in the comments. So for me, surprisingly enough, I've never been so at peace with any like performance before. And when I say at peace, I mean like not as nervous as I would usually get. But the day before, I literally had a whole worship in my hotel room, just like praising God. And I felt so much peace up until that point. And then dude before me who went, okay, wait. So the day before, only half of the people who auditioned got chair turns. And everyone was like, whoa, that's crazy. Because the first day they was trigger happy with the buttons. So I'm like, okay, so is the quota like 8 now? Because then Zania had been the number 8 spot that got a yes. And then the guy before me didn't get any chair turns. And I was the last of the day. And I was like, oh my God, did they meet a quota? Like, is this it? Am I done? And I started going down this rabbit hole. And I was like, you know what? Just, it is what it is. It's already finished. So I got on stage and I was like at peace, whatever. And then I was like, let me just look at the virtual audience so I don't check myself out. I still see Blake turn in my peripheral. And I literally, I kid you not, I turned completely this way to Paul because I was like, what? And then when I turned back, Kelly and John were already turned around. And then that's when I started to get nervous and like, yeah.
Wow. So you had Kelly, you had John, you had Blake.
Mm-hmm.
Why did like Nick Jonas? Listen, I'm gonna talk about Nick Jonas. Nick Jonas, he hosting award shows. Listen, you was a part of the Jonas Brothers, sir. When that man on Camp Rock, man, listen.
He was Camp Rock.
Like this man on Camp Rock. You remember that viral clip that went up? They was doing some stepping to the moment. I'm like, man, listen, Nick Jonas, listen. I don't know what Nick had going. He did a whole montage. He was doing a boot camp. He went to boot camp if he chose you. Okay, he wouldn't need the boot camp. And then he was over there like, oh, I'm fighting. Oh, I'm fighting Blake Shelton. He wouldn't need no boot camp if he chose you first and foremost. So you should have got a 4-chair turn from the Jonas brother. Okay, first and foremost. But in general, so talk about that choice of you choosing John Legend. So you said in choosing John Legend that he musically read you and that he was smooth and charming. He read you up and down as an artist. So talk about that moment. Like, because a lot of people, like for example, Dion's in the comments on Instagram Live and HT posts. So Dion said essentially he chose John, but Blake was who he really wanted because he wanted to carve out his own lane on Blake's team. But Cam took that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, did you really want to go with John? Or was it like, hey, you know, John, man, that's John Legend. He's smooth right now. He understands me to go with him.
So one thing I did realize afterwards is that John has a way with words because I felt like he read me as an artist, and Dion told me the same thing when I spoke to Dion. But initially, John was not on my radar as a coach. He really wasn't. Kelly was who I wanted from jump. I literally, on my interviews, I was talking about Kelly, and I was like, oh, I love her energy. But I don't know if it was because it was the end of the day or because she thought I was going to go with John that she just, like, gave up. But I wasn't getting the energy that I wanted from her, you know? Blake, I didn't pick Blake because Cam had picked Blake. And Blake told Cam that I'm not going to pick anybody else in your lane. And he also told me the same thing. He was like, there's nobody else on my team. Like, you'll have your own lane. And I'm like, okay, you're saying this, but like you also said this to Cam. So I feel like you would pair us together. And I'm not going to do that. So I was like, but then John, I wasn't expecting him to give me all this energy that he gave me. He spoke to me for like 15 minutes and literally was just saying all these things. And by the time they asked me to pick my coach, I couldn't even remember what Kelly said. Like literally I had blacked out with what anything she said. And I was like, wow, I can't pick her because I don't even know what she said. So I had to pick John.
First and foremost, don't this sound like a relationship, man? Let's not do you better than other folks do. You know what I'm saying? Come over here and make sure you good. Like, don't it sound like a relationship first and foremost? Like someone try to spit game at you. But that is interesting.
Yeah.
So this is something I definitely want to ask you, especially when the voice is over. We see Cam won, and we're going to talk about the butterfly effect moment that Dion spoke about in the interview we did with him last week. So let me ask you this. Do you think that John rocks with black artists? Because I think his team largely was black. And I think that when he sees a black artist on that stage, he pops up a little bit and he has this smile, like a wide grin like this.
That was
the whole time.
And that
like
was
that. So
reason. That was definitely another reason why, like, when I was thinking about all my options, also because it was his last spot. So I was like, oh, he must really want me if he turned for his last spot. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, that, and then how vocal he's been with the Black community and Black Lives Matter and all this stuff, you know, all that stuff is important, you know, and that definitely played a factor too. And I'm not even gonna lie to you. Me and Sienna, for our battle, like, for us, it was so 50-50. There was no, some of the battles I would watch and be like, okay, I feel like this person's gonna win. You know what I'm saying? Or like, but for me and Sienna, it was really like nobody knew. If you spoke to anybody, they're like, I don't know. And in my head, I'm like, well, hopefully John is like Black Lives Matter in this moment. Because that's how I was feeling. I was like, you know what? I hope that's it. But it wasn't. But that's okay.
It's that's perfectly fine, because you still had that moment, you know. And I just really like, I really saw that John really gravitated towards a lot of Black artists, and I feel like it burned them up when Cam went to Blake. So let's talk about that moment. So Dion tells me last week, he's in the comments, he says that if Cam didn't choose, if Cam pick wasn't blocked by John, so John wanted Cam, Nick blocked John, Nick, Jonas' brother self, thought he's gonna get Cam, and he won. He blocked him for no reason, and then Blake got him, and then Blake ended up winning his eighth time in 20 seasons, in 10 years. So, like, you know, Blake ended up winning, right? And that essentially is the butterfly effect, where Dion wanted to go with Blake, but Cam blocked that off. So I want you, because we talked about this, tell me about that butterfly effect for you, because I think Cam winning, it really means a lot, because Cam being there really shifted the results in a very interesting way. So tell us your story on it.
It shifted a lot. Cam being with Blake, definitely. Like, for me, I didn't pick Blake, like I just said, the whole Cam thing. But also, I feel like it shifted things for Vic too, because if Nick hadn't blocked John for Cam, somebody would have blocked John for Vic, because they both went on the same day, and at least one of them was going to get blocked from John. So if Cam hadn't been blocked, Vic would have been blocked 100%.
So that's something that blows my mind. So I want to ask this. So, like, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I was watching The Voice for Victor, and now I saw you. I'm like, I love her. Saw Dion. I'm like, hey, he thorough. Saw now, I'm like, okay, Howard. You know what I'm saying? I started getting invested. So explain the block to me. I don't get it. So it's like, are they blocking blessings? What are they doing?
Essentially. Yeah, it's more so, I feel like, a TV thing, like a little ad of entertainment or whatever. I don't think it really, I mean, it could benefit artists, because it obviously benefited Cam. Like, he even said in the episode yesterday that if he hadn't been on Blake's team, he wouldn't have been stretched as much as he was, like having been paired with Emma and singing a country song and things like that. So it definitely does benefit artists in some way, but it also takes away, because sometimes that artist really wanted to work with a specific coach. So I think it's really just an element that NBC used for TV stuff, but which is fine, because it's TV. That's the industry we're in.
I get it. And I mean, yeah, I just think it does make it interesting, but I think that here's what I would have loved to have seen. Especially now, granted, you've made it more complicated in my mind, so just rock with me, okay?
I'm sorry.
I don't know if this makes sense based on what you just told me. I think that if okay, I'm gonna just say, okay, let's say what you said wasn't the thing. All right, I'm gonna go Dion's version. I felt we possibly could have got in the knockout round Victor versus Cam.
Yeah, and that's another thing Cam and Blake talked about, and Carson yesterday on the episode. They were like, if Cam had been on John's team, who knows? Cam could have fell through the cracks, you know, or Vic could have fell through the cracks. It's just everything happens the way it's supposed to happen.
I would have loved to have seen that though, like, because like, you know, on YouTube, Cam has a fan base, so on YouTube they have him battle people like that's not even there. Like, you know, like on some shows, like he'll be on one show, he's singing, all of a sudden you got this other random person that's singing. I'm like, I would have loved to have seen that, because it's like the mixture and clash of styles. I would have loved to have seen John clearly was rocking with Victor from jump. Cam, clearly he's the superstar. So it's like, okay, so who you picking, John? I think John, like that pause would have been real. I know that pause real when y'all film, it would have been like, oh man, go to commercial break at this point.
But that's like the same for me. That situation is exactly the same as Dion and Vic, because at that point in the show, at that point, they had only heard Cam once, and then during battles, right? So for me, and for I feel like a lot of contestants, the top vocalists of our season was Cam, Dion, and Vic. Straight like that. So whether it be Vic and Dion, Cam and Vic, it would have all been the same like situation. You know what I'm saying? And I think one of them would have fell through the cracks if it was Vic and Cam, because nobody thought Dion would be going in battles. Nobody thought that, and we were all literally shook to the core. So I could imagine that happening to one of them.
Wow. So what made Cam, Dion, and Victor like the top in your eyes, as far as like from that musical aspect? What made you consider them the top vocalists?
Have you heard them?
I've heard them. I want you to break it down. I'm not a singer. I want you to break it down for me. Like what did you hear in your ear? You know,
Vic's tone is like crazy, and the way he just pronounces all his words, and you know the stylistic things he does. Dion, I don't care. He always tells me not to say it, but he's the male Jasmine Sullivan to me. Just like that. And Cam is like, he's R&B. Obviously, he has an R&B style, but his voice is like a classical R&B, clean cut. You know what I'm saying? It's not like the quivery, raspy R&B that we usually get. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just different. And then they're all just like humble but confident. You know, it's not like there's a certain point of people who are like, oh, I know I got it. Like, I know I'm staying. But it's like, I know I'm staying because I believe in myself, but like, I'm humble. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to explain it, but.
No, you explain it. Well, you break it down. You whole music critic, but I'm telling you, I'm trying to tell you what you are. You better than them folks that was reviewing The Voice. All right, them folks getting paid to do that. Okay, right. Come on, man. They over there like I'm surprised Victor didn't go home. Like, boy, if you don't go home, like with your family at this point, like what the world? So you better than them. So in general, like moving into just like the battle round, so. Walk us through that, because sadly we did not see the full battle round, and I will say for you that NBC was wrong for that. Run us our tape. All right, the season's over. Run us our tape. But tell us about that battle run, because clearly we have to make it an audio book because we don't have the visuals. Okay, so let us know what's up.
So, well, for one, me and Sienna are definitely gonna record it so that everybody can hear it. But first of all, we didn't know the song. She had heard it on TikTok or something, but I literally had never heard the song before. It was You Broke Me First by Tate McRae. No? Do you know it?
Oh no, not at all. Go ahead, keep going. Go ahead.
That's what I'm saying. But the song is it's a very pop-ish tune. It's very linear too, so which is fine for like, you know, mainstream music. But being on a singing show, you wanna change stuff up and do it the way that you would do it, right? So me and Sienna are both big singers. So we turned into a big song. And there were just some of the coaches talked about the arrangement of the song, and like how they felt that in the song it was already kind of like a lot, and that we didn't need to do whatever we did to change it to fit, you know, to try to make it a singing competition song. But we definitely didn't think that, but we loved it. And then she actually came to Texas like this weekend, and we were singing it. But it's fine. I get
it. Listen, I get it. I just really think that you should have gotten on the show. This to me, like I think that, and on the YouTube, y'all look at the YouTube comments, y'all, if y'all haven't seen them. For that little snippet of a battle, I thought it was a whole new show. I'm like, I got y'all a new show? Okay. I'm like, man, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dang, like, what's up? But it's like they had it like it was just a trailer, and I'm like, bro, like what is this? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like NBC did a total disservice. Like I think that's when NBC and The Voice got it wrong, because y'all done fit every performance in the world. Y'all done had Justin Bieber. Y'all done had Adam Levine. Y'all done had Snoop Dogg come back. Man, I could have sworn I saw Tupac up there, man. I'm like, what the world? At this point, I had everybody on this show, but y'all could give us like the battle that we wanted to see. We just wanted to see you sing, okay?
Yeah, but I will say, NBC. There's a lot of people get on NBC and The Voice for montaging people, but they don't ever do it in like a malicious, like, well, you had your time type thing. You know what I'm saying? It's always for a reason. Like sometimes they don't. If we sounded bad at a certain point or sounded bad for most of the song, they won't play it. If someone looks bad from their reaction to something, they won't play it. Like they don't want anybody to look bad in any type of light. But I do wish they played it though, because I would have loved to see it back. You know what I'm saying? But there's so many reasons as to why they wouldn't play it. So, but we don't know. But yeah.
I get it. The only thing I'm saying is this, because I be doing folks' jobs for them. Why want you to release it as like, hey, unreleased footage? Oh, look at Denisha. You know, the battle. I don't get it. Yeah. And then someone said this too, because I want to let them off the hook, because YouTube, they're making sense on YouTube, where it's like, why wouldn't you put the full performance on YouTube?
They used to do that too. They used to do that. They would montage people on TV and then put the whole thing on YouTube. I don't know why they stopped doing that, but I don't know.
I wasn't feeling it like we not. As you see with the media, I don't let the media off. I don't let them off, because it's like that. I feel like it's lazy. Fit it in somehow.
But
because
I get what you're saying about not letting the media off. But I feel like it's because they have good intentions behind it. I'll say it's not like they're just, you know, because a lot of times I feel like the media doesn't have good intentions behind a lot of things, but I feel like they do when they come to montaging people, because like the whole, I don't know if you know the whole Rain montage thing that happened, and Rain was talking about her reaction to it and how she spoke and whatever, but like if she had the reaction that she had on live but on TV, they didn't show that because they didn't want people to see Rain as some like crazy, you know, like all these shows that show people being crazy after they get cut. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't want anybody to look at her in that light, you know? I don't know. There's just so much. There's so much, but I get what you're saying. I get it. I do feel like The Voice coddles us in the industry, because they didn't have to tell me I was getting montaged. They could have just said, "Oh, you." Oh,
they told you.
Yeah, they tell us. They tell us beforehand. Because
they why?
Yeah, they tell us if we're getting montaged, and they tell us when we're airing and stuff like that, so that you know you can prepare yourself for that. But nobody has to tell you that. Like I know on American Idol, they don't even tell people when they not going to air their audition. They just don't. At
this point on American Idol, they don't tell us when to come on. I don't know if they're gonna be on. Like, so that's one thing. I just looked at the Shine story. Oh, the Shine. Oh, it's all bad.
Right,
I'm watching. You know, at this point, like, what the world? Listen. So let me ask you this, because I got to do this follow up. So did they tell you why it wasn't aired?
No, they don't tell us why. There literally can be so many reasons. I don't know. We don't know why, but I couldn't own up to 2 points that I knew I messed up in that song, but I didn't think it was like, you know, crazy. I think it's messed up because I know what I'm supposed to be singing. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think it was any type of extreme to not play. But yeah.
So for the audience that is following you, that came from YouTube, that were upset, it was not a conspiracy. It just was business.
Yeah, I saw a couple comments like, why the only battle that had the 2 minorities in it gets montaged? I was like, dang, I didn't even think about that. But
you know what?
Right, you know what? But no, I don't think it was anything like that. I don't think it was anything crazy.
I get it. And you know, I mean, I hold media to a higher standard, because I just feel as if, like what we do, for example, like over here, it's like, you know, they're paid for this. Like they went to school for this. A lot of these folks, they have degrees in this, like high degrees in this. It's like I feel like, you know, in a way you can fit it in, and you know, I think we spoke about this, this season was very short.
Yes.
And I want to know why. I mean, I don't know if you know why, but I mean, was it because of COVID? I mean, I just want to know, what was the point of making it so short? Like, what was the point?
Yeah, so before season 18 was when COVID hit. It hit right in the middle of season 18. So they did their live shows from home. Like, I would have been singing right here, like this. But season 18 is when they shortened it because of COVID. And then there was I think it was supposed to be shortened prior to anyway, because the Olympics were also that year. So they were going to shorten it so that the Olympics could come on. And then they just been keeping it like that. But I think because COVID is obviously still here, I'm just hoping that season 21, 22, that they get an audience of some sort. I hope that they get longer live playoffs. But I also hope that they bring back the COVID seasons and we get something. I hope we get something, because that'd be great.
I think so too. So let's transition into like just the analyzation part of it. So I want to ask you this. I want to invite you into this conversation. So you were on The Voice. They pursued you. You had American Idol. You had The Voice. You went out for The Voice since you were 15, and you got the opportunity. So one of the big things that we started the discussion about is that this isn't 2002. This isn't 2005. So American Idol at that point, that was the show that started this wave. The Voice would not be here if it wasn't for American Idol. And you saw stars like Fantasia, Ruben Studdard, Kelly Clarkson, Jennifer Hudson, so you saw stars like that transcended to these heights. But the reason why primarily was because that we were digesting those singers through that show, and also through radio and through media in that way, because social media it was around, but it wasn't what it is now.
Right.
So my question is this, as I set it up for you, do you think, especially after being on the show and having this amazing experience, do you think that shows such as The Voice are viable for artists that are trying to jump into their careers, or should they go for a more independent route?
So for me, I have been thinking about this literally for the longest. My mom always talks about the ways that people made it in her decade or whatever. And then we talk about, when people used to make it from American Idol or shows like this. And I think when the times are changing, technology is changing, everything else needs to go ahead and follow with it. Because we're like, the talent shows and everything, first of all, amazing experience. I feel like anybody who can do it, because it's just a good experience to have in general. And it still does get you exposure, but not how it used to, you know what I'm saying? But I think there needs to be some type of new path that like emerges for artists, because it's kind of dying out, you know what I mean? But I definitely would always encourage people to do shows like this 100%. And people a lot of times talk about the contracts and stuff, but there's a lot that goes into that, and that can change. And I'm not gonna say the odds of you winning are slim, but like but you get exposure, and then it's just, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it at the end of the day.
So and I want to read this comment before it goes away. So we're on HBC Post Instagram Live right now, and we have Delta in Stilettos.
That's my advisor.
Okay, advisor Delta in Stilettos. She says The Voice seems like it's more about the celebrities, and American Idol is about finding and promoting talent. I just don't think. Here's my thing, and all love to Deshaun. We'll be interviewing Deshaun soon, but I have to be real. I don't think that American Idol does that well anymore. I just don't. I think that American Idol, if The Voice is beating American Idol, and American Idol is the legacy show, and then it's on ABC, which is by rating the #1 channel, and you're putting it on primetime on Sundays.
The Voice
still has more views by a mile. Because if I'm looking at the ratings numbers, 6 million, and then I think American Idol, and I don't want to say this is a definitive number. I could be wrong, but I believe that it went down to about maybe 2 million. So I'm like, so for me, what this is that, okay, so you're drawing eyeballs on the artist. So you want people to see the artist, and you're promoting them. Like, for me, I just think that it should be a part of the rollout. So you don't go on this show and you don't say yes to this show until you have, you know, some work or a brand that's sustainable. Like with Victor, I'm gonna bring Victor in for example. Victor made sense on The Voice because Victor was coming in with a several audiences that converge into one, from HBCUs, from D9, you know, like, so it all came together. So Victor on The Voice makes a lot of sense, but I think that where a lot of folks get it mixed up on American Idol and on The Voice is that people still think TV is the way, but TV, I think, should be a strategy to get to where it needs to be. What do you think?
I agree with you to some extent, but I don't agree with the fact that you should only go on when you have something developed, right? So there's young people out here like Rachel, for example, right? This girl, you can tell she can be an artist, but she literally just turned 16 years old. You know what I'm saying? And not everybody's like Cam, where you have your brand and everything set at 12 years old. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's shows like this that help you grow and discover that. You know what I mean? Especially when you're being mentored by somebody. When it comes to people do say that The Voice seems as if it's more focused on the celebrities, and then American Idol is more focused on the artists and things like that. I can get where they're coming from with that, but I also think it's only like that because American Idol has this like almost kind of like actual reality TV aspect to it, where they show all the emotions, good and bad, of the artist. You know what I'm saying? Whereas for The Voice, they want everything to be clean cut. They don't want anybody to be shown in any type of bad light. So they only take the good stuff. It's very rainbows and unicorns at The Voice, right? But for American Idol, it's more authentic and more, I don't want to say more authentic because it is authentic on The Voice. It's just that they're taking out the negativity of it all. You know what I mean?
Well, what, like, the only thing with that, because I think that's a brilliant point. What I saw of American Idol, especially as I started to dive into it, as I went to support Deshaun, is that American Idol, they Shark Tanked it. And when I say they Shark Tanked it, is that what I know when I was a kid, what my family watched American Idol for, is we wanted to see Simon Cowell go in. We wanted to see that man roast that person, and even the folks on that stage, what the hell was that? Like, that was used to be the thing back in the day. So you're watching to see what Simon Cowell does, the tension between him and Paula Abdul, and then the black folks like, hey, that's Randy Jackson. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it was all of those things combined together. And then you had Fantasia, Ruben Studdard, Clay Aiken, Jordan Sparks. You had Taylor Hicks. You had all these different folks that were there. I think with American Idol, where American Idol fails is that I think they lost that way. And on Fox was cool with being dramatic. Because remember, they had that Nicki Mariah situation they had going on. That was drama that was added. Ellen was added. So I think it was a perfect synergy of getting people to tune in to see the artists, but also the judges, and that. It was an event. I think when you take away the personality from it, now it becomes something where it's like it's just about singing, and they're picking these folks that do ASMR singing sometimes. Like, I mean, it's like, bro, you put me, somebody's supposed to put me to sleep. And it's like, you know, Deshaun was giving it to me. He was giving the jazz numbers, and he didn't make it to that top spot. But you got the folks that singing country, and it's like, man, listen, this is on in the store at the mall. Okay, like, you're not about to pop off like this. I'm like, bro, you gonna send my boy home? Lionel Richie just stood up for this man about 15 times. Lionel Richie stood like this, done sat down yet. And y'all gonna pick Buddy up that when I walk in Hollister, his song just playing. I'm like, man, I'm not working with it.
I'm so weak at the mall.
That is my problem. That is my big problem. I think The Voice, and here's another thing too. They don't be giving them criticism on American Idol for it. Like, oh, you're so amazing. Oh my gosh, look at you. You're so great. You're so nice. Oh, you're so amazing. On The Voice, like John Legend be like, I don't like that run. You know, here's what I would do. And I'm like,
but here's the thing.
I like that. Tell me when I'm wrong.
That's what I'm talking about though. For The Voice, they might put in the nicer negative comments like, you know, you could have maybe not ran like you know, the passive aggressive comments. But for American Idol, it was always like you were saying, Simon's like, no, you gotta go. You know what I'm saying? But even though they don't do that as much anymore, but they still show them literally laughing at somebody. You know what I'm saying? They would never show that on The Voice. And like for me and Sienna's battle, for example, there weren't these outstanding like good comments, and I feel like that's another reason why maybe it got monetized, because the coaches had only critiques and all this stuff, which I think is fine. That's why I went on the show, because you want critiques, because that's how you grow, right? But they don't want to be looked at as this like negative energy, because when you look at it for real, like, and you think about American Idol and the legacy that it has, there's a lot of negativity that goes with American Idol. And that's, again, reality TV. It's TV, it's entertainment. Like, but when it comes to The Voice, I think for the Kanisha, what you were saying about like the artists being the center of attention on American Idol, I think in a way it could even be flipped, because for The Voice, they don't bring on people as jokes. You know, like American Idol literally brings somebody dressed like pants on the ground. And like The Voice would never do that to waste time. You know, they don't want to waste time. They try to fit everybody in. They try to give everybody the opportunity. Like, I don't know. It could be flipped so many different ways. There's so much that goes into it.
You know, I get that for sure. Like, I think that I like The Voice style a bit more, because I think that at this point, it's more compelling on The Voice to me. Like, I came in for Victor, admittedly, because, you know, I had heard, you know, through the grapevine, you know, I'm plugged in, that Victor's going to be on The Voice. I was hearing about it. And then, you know, the thing dropped. So I hit him up and, hey, man, I'm supporting. And, you know, I'm ready for it. I had a lot going on at that time, but I'm going to check it out. You know what I'm saying? This is Victor, man. He's doing his thing. He's always been very talented. Right. I've heard about him at A&T. I haven't had a chance to personally meet him, but I've always heard about him. So I'm going to check it out. So I came for Victor, but I stayed for you and Dion and A and everybody like that. Like, I stayed for y'all, Cam. So it's like, you know, for me, it was the fact that it was more polished, and it was the celebrity aspect brought me in. I think that The Voice is a better version of what American Idol was, because I said this, I forgot which one I said. I did so many interviews. Like, I said it at some point. I think that, like, The Voice replaced the snark of Simon Cowell with the celebrity of John Legend, Blake Schultz, and, you know, Ariana Grande now. And I think that works.
I think it had to be the Blake and Adam from the jump. It had to be the Blake and Adam banter thing that they had going. And I was genuinely nervous when Adam left the show. I was like, I feel like The Voice is going to suffer because Adam left. Because it was literally like about them. When it came to judge stuff and wanting entertainment outside of the entertainment that's actually on the show, you would look to Adam and Blake to be going back and forth. But then, you know, they brought in Kelly and John, and it worked out for them. But I was nervous. I was nervous when they let him go.
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you, because clearly I'm not lying at this point. People in the comments are loving the Hollister comment. I thought The Voice was corny at first. And I love CeeLo Green. I thought The Voice was corny. I thought The Voice was corny. Like, literally, like I was like, bro, what is this show, bro? Like, I was like, no, turn off my TV. But then when I saw John Legend on there, I was like, oh, I think Alicia Keys was on there one time. Like, oh, wait a minute. You know, now I'm like, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, now y'all really are coming with it. And my mom and I, we would watch The Voice, you know? Like, so I just think that, like, The Voice is very much so, it took the American Idol model and it switched it. But I want to turn to this, as you know, as we close out. What I want to turn to is the comment that Blake made, all right? And I'm going to, you know, I want to play, because I'm not letting that go. I'm not letting that go, all right? Because you heard some of what I said at the beginning. So for y'all that don't know, this is what Blake said about Cam weeks ago.
I've never had more people ask me about an artist on my team in 20 seasons of doing this show, man. You could be the first superstar that we launch off this show.
I'm telling you, this the reason why Blake wins is Blake goes in with a strategy. He's like, well, I'm going to have everybody talking about Cam. Cam gonna win. I just feel like Cam deserved it. No, Cam deserved it for sure. But like I said, here's my point on it really quickly. I just think that the media as a whole, and I'm not talking about, the local media, not the Greensboro news outlets, not the outlets from your hometown. I think the national media was being lazy, as national media normally is lazy, because why weren't the stories of everyone being told? I think that, because I did a lot of deep diving. I'm not just saying this because, I supported Victor. I did a lot of deep diving, from research on ratings to looking at it from an American Idol standpoint. And I read all those articles about The Voice hasn't created a star. But you're not telling the story. Like, if you tell the story of these artists, you're going to be related. So, oh, man, I want to see Victor win. Oh, he comes from HBCU. Oh, I want to see Denisha win. Like, wow. Like, but they're not telling the stories. But the one story they told consistently was Cam, and they were telling the story of the country singers. And I just don't, like, who's critiquing these shows? Because it's like, I'm not gonna get out of my mind that one parentheses. They were like, on Team Legend, like Victor Solomon got the top votes, and then Pia got picked as the person, that John saved. I thought it would be the other way around. I thought Victor, you didn't think nothing, so you thought that we were gonna let Victor go home. Is that what you thinking? Okay, I'm like, bro, are you even looking at, are you sleepwalking as you're typing this? Because it's like, you're clearly not looking at what's really going on. So it's like, I feel like people were being lazy. Like, okay, Cam, Blake said Cam, we're gonna write about Cam. And it's like, even within the regards of, The Voice doesn't create stars, how I look at it is that, now, like, I feel like, and I said this, in an episode, I said that it's about the artist with their social media, but it's also on The Voice to teach you all how to brand yourself. John, 13 million followers. Victor did a takeover. Belay, country superstar. Kelly won American Idol, and she's still around. But I think that it's on the media as well to tell the story, because they have to reach out to y'all. They have to give y'all more. They have to tell the story, because that's where the ball's being dropped. The ball's being dropped on the media as well, because I don't want it to be where y'all go on this show and then we never hear again from this and that. When it's I'm not blaming the audience. I'm not at this point even thinking, I'm not even blaming the show fully. I'm blaming the media, because y'all are lazy at this point. That's how I feel about it. What do you think at this point?
Well, for one, the whole Cam being a superstar thing, I think we have to look at, I think you're focusing on the one part of that statement. But the first thing Blake said was, I've never had so many people come up to me. Out of the 20 seasons, he has been there, right? And, I mean, you could say he's making it up or whatever, but if he's not, that's a testament. You know what I'm saying? And he's not just around regular folk. Like, he's around people who are controlling the media and all this stuff. So if people are already thinking about Cam, they think about Cam. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. And also, like, when it comes to the media, I feel like The Voice has never been like a top topic for the media. I've never gone on Twitter and seen The Voice trending. I've never, seen any of that. So I don't think the media is going to be like, let me go find these Voice contestants of this season, especially because there's 2 seasons of The Voice every year. Like, the amount of artists that they would be reaching out to over and over and over again, like, when there's so much other news going on in the world, you know what I'm saying? That I don't think that the first thing they're like, let me go find these new Voice artists.
Very true. The only thing is this. You're right. But if you're paid to cover reality TV shows and singing competitions, and the only 2 you really got is American Idol and The Voice, do your job.
Yeah, if it's like that, then yes. If it's like okay, I'll say who, but even like, okay, the one that's coming to my mind is like Access Hollywood and like Entertainment Nightly and stuff like that. Like, those are the ones that I think would focus more on singing competitions and stuff like that. But then they also focus on things like the Kardashians and Kanye and all this crazy stuff.
But what I would say is that within the media, I'm not just talking about from the TV aspect. I'm talking about the websites too, Entertainment Tonight, the website, and also like the New York Post, they're the one that wrote the scathing article about, you know, the Voice in American Idol not having any stars. It's like, I think that it's just a pervasive laziness because, dude, you're paid to watch TV. I'm doing this for free. Like, I paid for all this equipment at this point. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, you getting paid for this and you telling me you can't talk to Denisha? You telling me that? Like, come on, that's all I'm saying. You telling me that you can't see. Oh man, but like you're telling me that you can't see, okay, that Victor has this HBCU wave. You're telling me that you can't see, hey, yo, 3 chair turns, this is big. Where it's only one person. Like, it was beats. It was different voice beats that were going on. It was American Idol beats that were going on to the point where American Idol, I don't know if they were leaking it or not, but we knew the Disney songs that they were going to be singing. Mm-hmm. So it was some journalistic integrity going on. But the media is like the people are like, you know, I want to lose weight, but they sit on the couch and they just keep eating. That's what the media is at this point. Like, that is who they are. I am very disappointed in the media because I look at it this too. I look at it like this. I look at it like, okay, I am here and I was working, I'm doing these shows, I'm looking at these numbers, we're posting Victor, we're trying to post everybody else, we're connecting, we know with young men and women like you. And it's like, okay, we're trying to figure out, okay, what's going on. I'm trying to get them a better understanding of things. And it's like, but you're paid for this. Mm-hmm. And you're like, okay, I'm the next superstar. Why he the next superstar? Well, he was on Ellen. And it's like, bruh, you don't even know this man.
You don't even know this man.
Dude, well, he was on Ellen. He was signed to Dr. Dre. Like, no, bro, you don't know this man.
But that all of that like goes into it because that is like, we know that's what media is. They always gonna jump on board when it's like extravagant. You know what I'm saying? And Cam is extravagant. Like this.
Yes.
He 12 years old. Like since, you know, crazy.
Black Justin Bieber.
And all this, like all these things, all these accomplishments he's had, and he is 19 years of age. Like, come on. And I get like, so a lot of us this season, I don't care what nobody say, best season. Like,
oh no, for sure,
talented.
For sure.
And there's so many of us who are talented, and like I 100% understand that. But like, you look at Cam, and there's just so much there, right? And then like, even, for example, Riley, she was just on Ellen, right? They're not putting all of us on Ellen, but why did they put Riley on Ellen? Because the whole, like, her whole story of being gay and coming out and all that stuff, right? But, like, all of that, her story is extravagant. You know what I'm saying? It's something that you look at and you're like, I'm inspired by that. You know? Like, not to say that no, everybody else is not inspiring, but they can't put everybody on, you know what I'm saying? And then if you do that, it's like voting for everybody and your vote cancel out. Because like, why you gonna do it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, true. But I think that you brought up an amazing point, and even while we're here, so I think that's where Black media has to come in.
Yes, 100%.
You know, because
I agree with that 100%.
Like, because that's where it's like, you know, Black media has to come in because that's the reason why it exists. Like, so like when we like, oh, black on media, oh, that's racist. Why can't it be all media? Like how they do Black Lives Matter. It's like, but we have these different ways of telling the story. Exactly. Because if it wasn't outlets like this, like what would we be doing right now? And you know what I'm saying?
The thing with Vic, why I feel like Vic is not, with all the, like, you know how I said Cam had all these accomplishments. Vic also had all these accomplishments. But his were all like mainly Black centered. You know what I'm saying? Things that the white folk in this country, the voters, they don't know about. So like you said, the Black media definitely should have been on top of that more. Like HBCU, Mr. FIA, like, come on. Like, that's a lot. And I definitely agree with you on that, 100%.
Yeah, and I think that would be us not being lazy. But I just think that we and don't get me started. You like this is about to turn to a personal FaceTime. Okay, I'm gonna call you after this, but this is gonna turn to personal FaceTime. All I'm gonna say is that I think that we have to stop looking at folks as content, and I'm saying this as someone that we just got 34,000 followers. Like we hit this plateau. And one of the things I think the reason why as Pulse, HBCU Pulse especially, and we have Queen Series as well, and we're growing at Pulse Radio, is that I don't look at folks as content. Victor wasn't content. I want to support Victor.
Right.
And I hope people saw it that way. I think Victor saw it that way, because that's what this was for.
Mm-hmm.
Because if this was content, I wouldn't be on right now. Yeah. I'll be watching the Lakers. I hope they're winning. I'm not looking at the score. I hope they're winning. But it's like, I'll be watching the Lakers right now. I'll be watching the Clippers right now. But I'm like, we could have posted Glory. Oh, we got a whole bunch of views. We could have posted just the clips, a whole bunch of views. This is the level of support where we have to support our people. Like, and I feel like that's where we're lacking. And it's like, and I want to transition into this. So as we wrap up, because we're going to wrap up. All right. We can go forever. We're going to wrap up. We're going to wrap up. But so I want to do twofold, right? So we want to talk about Victor, but let's talk about Cam first, because Cam is the winner of season 20. And once again, congratulations to him. So this whole entire stigma, we've never had a star. And Adam Levine went on Howard Stern cursing about it. Like Blake went on Entertainment Tonight. Yeah. It was years ago. Howard Stern. I'm the male Oprah. I'm the millennial time doing it. You ain't gonna cuss on here, okay? But like over there, they like it's Sirius XM cussed about bleep. We ain't did a bleeping star. But it's like Blake goes to Entertainment Tonight and speaks about it for one of his artists. And here's the thing: one of his artists, the guy, I think he came back. I think I don't know if he's saying with Kelly. I think he came back. It was one of his artists recently. It was a few years ago. Yeah, it was him. It was him.
Last season.
Okay, so it was either Ian or it was another one of the country guys that Blake had.
Jake who came back, but I think he was.
I think I'm getting it mixed up. It was one, because I think it was a couple years ago that happened, and the artist co-signed like, yeah, that's true. But the artist that he was talking about ain't a star. like you complain about, there's no stars.
I think what they mean, like, there are definitely successful people that came off the show. Catherine Hawthorne, she's in the gospel. Daniel Bradbury, she's country. Cassidy Pope, like these, like they have successful people. But I think when he says a superstar, I'm thinking he's talking about Kelly Clarkson type. Like you win and you're like, everybody knows your name. Jennifer Hudson. People who actually came off of American Idol was like actually a star. You know what I'm saying? Instead of like you come off the show, then you kind of do some other things, and then you're like kind of there. Like I think that's what he means. It's not that they never had successful people, because they definitely have.
So let me answer this thing. I think you brought up a good point. Mm-hmm. So do you think that in this conversation that Blake and a lot of different folks are looking at it from a different lens, from a different era? Because if you're looking for Kelly Clarkson in the early 2000s, I don't know what you're looking for. If you're looking for Fantasia when she won, I don't know what you're looking for, because it's like when it's one show and one big, the American Idol was getting Super Bowl, and the only other show or thing on TV that had more views was the Super Bowl. That's one thing. You're looking at, I'm not good at math. When I was in math comment, I'm not good at math like that. So it's like you go from 38 million for that finale with Ruben Studdard to 6 million on a good night for The Voice. What can we read? What's a star? I don't get it.
Yeah, but I think I completely see where you're coming from, like with numbers and all that. But I still think, I don't think it's wrong for him to look at it with a lens of having like setting big goals, you know what I'm saying, for this show that he's been on for 10 years, and setting big goals for the artists that he believes in. I do want to like commend the coaches who do try to bring their artists up. Like Blake, the artist that was just on there, Ian, that was the first time he recorded with any of his artists, but like he is always promoting his artists even after the seasons and stuff like that. And then Kelly has brought on so many of her artists to like open for her in concerts and stuff. And I just, there's a couple coaches who like really, did you know Miley Cyrus put a down payment on one of her contestants' houses?
I heard about that. I did hear about
That's
that.
wild.
It is.
I just want to
No,
commend.
his only thing. Do we know was Miley Cyrus or Hannah Montana? We gotta look at it.
I'm
Gotta investigate. Gotta investigate which one it was. You never know. You never know.
The best of both worlds.
Listen, the best of both worlds. Because last time I saw Miley Cyrus, when she was on that stage, boy, she was like I don't know, she wasn't twerking. I don't know what she was doing on that stage back in the day. Okay, because let me say this about Miley Cyrus. You want to know my favorite country song, and I will admit it right here on live right now on this podcast. My favorite country song is Billy Ray Cyrus and Miley Cyrus. Get ready, get set, don't go. Boy, like I'm telling you, boy, that is my song. If Instagram wouldn't cut this live so quick, I would play it. Boy, I listen to that song like, boy, I'll be feeling that song, man. She gotta do what she gotta do. I gotta like it or not. She got dreams too big of this town, and she gotta give it a shot wherever they are. He don't even know what her dreams are. Okay, he's like, go for it, baby, go for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, just for like, bro, that is my song. So I listen. I don't know. Like, I feel like he didn't know she was gonna be twerking in 2013. That was one of the dreams he didn't know. But I love that song.
Money. I love her. I don't know how my phone is like. Okay, there we go.
Like at this point, but just going back to the point though, like I just really, I think that in what you just said, I think that we have to redefine what a star is. So I think the definition of a star to me, and I want you to give me your definition. Mm-hmm. I think the definition of a star is someone that shows personality. I think they have to have talent, and I think they have to translate in different mediums. Radio has been fractured. Radio still is the number one outlet, and I know this because I worked at iHeart.
Yep,
radio is still the number one outlet. Yeah, and and the thing is that, and Bob Pittman, who's the CEO of iHeart, speaks about this, is that radio is the best finisher. So it's like you can come up off of TikTok, you can come up, off of streaming, but radio makes it a hit because of the frequency of the play. And you hop in the car at that right moment, you hear, I'll just say one song I hear all the time that I just really like, Pooh Shiesty, Taking in Blood. I hear it every time I hop in the car at a certain time. And it's like, hey, this song's pretty good. Because I'm hearing it so frequently, I didn't go search on Apple Music versus some folks that heard it because they're already rocking with Pooh Shiesty. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but radio is fractured to a certain point because of social media, like being what it is. But, I think that you have to translate in every room. You have to be able to translate on social media. You have to be able to have a sustainable brand already. And it has to be a way the story can be told. Because I think that the best part about Cam is that he already had that brand, and I think he translates. Mm-hmm. I think that Victor already had that brand and a base with HBCUs, and he translates. Mm-hmm. To me, that says, hey, this is a star in the new sense. What do you think? What do you think translates into a star in your mind?
I agree with you. I think one of the things that you really touched on that I feel like is one of the most important things is the story, right? But also not just the story that you've already had and you're just telling the story, but to be able to bring people through the story with you as your story continues on. I think that contributes to stardom. And also just being able to really hone in on the message that you're trying to convey, but not to say that, because I've heard people say, if you want to be a star, you want to make it, you have to keep your brand the same, right? You have to, unless you take everybody on that journey with you to change it. So, for example, we were talking about Miley Cyrus, how she was goody two shoes, Hannah Montana. And then she said, boom, bangers. That's it. And she just changed. And everybody was like, whoa. But if she would have taken time to bring people through that transition with her and through that story with her, I feel like people would have stuck with her more, and then that's even more of a fan base, you know what I'm saying? Because you're not only bringing who you had from this brand, but you're also picking up whoever's coming with the next, you know what I'm saying? To be able to, like you said, translate and go through like that.
I love it. So real quick, on HG Folks Instagram, we got a lot of folks in here. Shout out to City Boy Jr. And I appreciate the follow back, man. I appreciate that. So shout out to him. But I think that's a great point. And, I think that has to be the definition, because we're looking at that definition. Cam's going to be perfectly fine. Mm-hmm. Victor's going to be perfectly fine. Yeah. We're looking at these two definitions. But if you're looking at, well, you know what? I didn't see him on the Super Bowl. Like I guess none of us are gonna be stars in. At this point, I guess
yeah.
I guess Blake ain't a star either. I ain't seen him on the Super Bowl in a minute. All right, at this point,
But I also think it's just that it factor. I think that's what Blake is also referring to, like that it factor. And not to say that nobody on The Voice has that, but I can't remember somebody who came off The Voice. Well, I'll say I can remember a few, but I can't remember a good amount of people who came off The Voice with that it factor, or that I felt had it while they were on the show. Like maybe they developed it after, and I'm like, okay, I'm starting to see it. But like to be on the show and you see that, like Cam, Vic, especially, I will never stop talking about that performance Vic gave yesterday.
Yeah.
Of Freedom, like that was a Grammy performance. Cam stand up,
yeah,
Grammy performance. And when you look at, that's the thing. I think Blake is also talking about it in spectrum of not even just the show, but let's talk about the show. When you have Cam and Vic, and then everybody else, right? Let's just talk about top 5. Everybody did a great job. Everybody gave a great vocal performance. But you look at even the littlest things, staging, like dancers, choreo, little decisions like kneeling and putting a fist up before your song even starts. Things like walking a certain way across the table like Cam did. That is artistry. That is stardom. That is like, that defines superstars. You know, being able to do that. Even sometimes, like when I look back on some of the performance I did, and I'm like you are self-conscious about stuff like that. Like people think I look stupid or something, but to be like, I don't give a single whatever to just be able to do that and, you know, live in your truth. I think that's also stardom. And to look at it and you see 2 people like that on the show, and then you see everybody else, like they gonna stand out, you know? So I think that's another reason why he even said it.
I feel it. That like that makes sense. And I just listen. I think we all need to go to sleep and then wake up and then figure out a new definition of what we're gonna do at this point. I don't like it. I don't like where we at this point. But so let's just talk about, you know, one last thing, and then we're gonna go to you, and we're gonna, you know, speak about what you have coming up. So what do you think should be next for Victor? So with Cam, we determined what his star is. And we're going to see where The Voice navigates him. He's already had that pub of, you know, being on Ellen. He sang for the Obamas. He, you know, was on Showtime at the Apollo, the reboot. So now we'll see how The Voice and Universal, how they work him, because he's a Black artist in a very niche market. I need to see him on the Ricky Smiley Morning Show, maybe Breakfast Club, something along those lines. Like, you know, maybe some local outlets like that. Like I think it's a podcast. Maybe HBCU Pulse want to come in. But I said what I said, though. I don't care. But like, you know, I mean, I think that it should be a pretty easy sell. But
yeah, he's gonna. The thing people don't even know, like Kelly talked about it during one of his performances, that he can transcend not only music and entertainment, but Cam is a whole actor out here. People don't even know that. Like he does so many things. It's crazy. He's a whole actor, a whole dancer out here. Like, man has worked with Kenny Ortega, dude who did High School Musical. Like that's you know what I'm saying? He's not gonna just rest like a lot of The Voice winners. It's not gonna be that for Cam. Yeah, for Vic though, I'm telling you, there's no way he's also not resting. Like sleep, no. Like Vic, I already know. I'm gonna give it like not even a week for somebody to say, "Oh, come to this meeting and let's talk." You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way. There's no way.
I feel it. So you think that Victor's going the sign route? So you think that Victor's gonna get signed to somebody? Yeah,
100%. Smokey Robinson already like said something about his performance, right? And who else?
Smokey Robinson, The Temptations, and then also you had Common back in 2018. He sang for. Right. Then you got to realize Brandy for y'all, and also you had Snoop Dogg, and then John Legend loves that man.
John is an amazing coach. I had never seen though before on any season John was on. I've never seen, and I feel like I followed closely. Like I watched The Voice, right? You don't find that a lot with contestants who actually watch the show. But I have never seen John do that video he posted today with Vic doing another song, and he basically interviewed Vic and then doing a take over my Instagram. I have never seen John do that. So that's how you know he's invested in this man. And it's not just going to be like, okay, next, you know, like it's not going to be that.
I will tell you what I think. Okay, so I think that John really rocks with Victor. I think John was at a point where John was with Chrissy Teigen, and they had the dinner table. You know what I'm saying? She cooked something. He's like, you know what, man? On that, I think Victor gonna be a star.
Right?
Like he cut his steak. I think he's gonna be a star.
Right?
You know what I'm saying? Like we gonna see what's up. I think he's gonna be the one I pick. Because I just feel like he knew from Jump Street when he turned around, this is my guy. You know what I'm saying? Like I just really think he was determined.
Even just that, having never turned for somebody who sang his song, like that's something. You know. That's
so let me ask you this. Let me ask this because I would listen back to this. I'd be like, bro, I didn't ask this. So do you think that John is gonna step up and do something? Do you think that's the conversation? Sorry, what do you think?
I think 100%. I think he would, because when I look at the coaches, they've all at least had one. Like Alicia Keys with Chris Blue, right? I feel like Alicia didn't really. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's definitely what I'm saying is correct, but I don't remember her doing that with nobody else. And you know, Blake, Kelly, they all had their people. But I really do think Vic is John's guy. Period. Like that's just I think John is gonna be the one to be like, okay, we're gonna do this now. You know, I think he's gonna be his mentor, like actually. Like, yes, he's our coach, but I think he's going to be his mentor for real, for real.
So what we're saying is that we're going to give it a week, and then we're going to see, thank you so much, and we're going to see that post come out. He's going to get 1 million likes, and we're going to love to see it. And then from there, he's going to say, great news, guys. I've just signed to John Legend. Like, hey, God is looking out for me. So that's what you're saying.
Yeah, something like that. Just like that. Or even, I was even thinking yesterday after that Freedom performance, because nobody ever performs Beyonce unless it's Listen or If I Were a Boy on any singing competition, and they haven't even done that in so long. And I was even thinking yesterday, like, dang, what if Beyonce was just like, hey, Rock Nation type stuff? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not far-fetched for Vic. It's really not. Like, I could see it.
First and foremost, I have to commend you for that Beyonce impersonation you low-key did. Like your voice got a little bit lower. Like it's like, hey, Rock Nation. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, Jay.
I didn't even try to do that first. I'm too weak.
Like this point. But I love it. I love it. So in general, just to button up the conversation, we can just go on and on about it. What we've gathered from this is that, you know, Victor and Cam are gonna be perfectly fine. They're both gonna be stars. And you know, like Dion, Anae, y'all are gonna be perfectly fine, you know. I think that, you know, we want to win, but I think that it's a brand play at the end of the day. So everybody's going to be perfectly fine. I think that, you know, Victor and John, I think it's going to be more than just the show. I think the show brought them together. I think that it's going to be a defining moment for Victor. I think Victor goes up from here. I'm definitely excited to see what Cam does.
Yes.
And, you know, just like, you know, some of the country singers on The Voice, you only hear something about Hollister. Like that's one thing we'll definitely, you know what I'm saying. And if anybody goes Aeropostale anymore, you hear me Aeropostale.
I'm weak.
Okay, like because that was popping around that time. that Mariah and Nikki was on American Idol. We was wearing Aeropostale back in the day with the glasses and the t-shirt. You know what I'm saying? But overall, so let's end it off talking about you. So what do you have coming up? So tell us how we can support you.
So right now I'm just recording some music. I'm trying to get an EP together before the end of this year. Also, there's a certain single I wanted to drop sooner rather than later, but I found a producer who I'm like really, really excited to work with, but it's gonna take a little longer. But I'm more focused on it sounding good than it coming out faster. So yes, music.
Makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense.
Yes.
And shows.
Yes.
Love to see it.
If you're in Texas, there's a show June 26th. It's like the 4th of July thing, but I'm gonna turn it into a Juneteenth thing. So yes.
Prairie View, Texas Southern. You know, man, Hudson Tillerson, man, Jarvis Christian. Need y'all to pull up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and then if y'all don't see she's an amazing person, If y'all need more encouragement, she's a devastating diva of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. So if y'all need a little bit more incentive, okay, you know, going out there and support, you know, but I think you're amazing, like for real. Like I appreciate you, you know, for coming on. I think we had an amazing conversation. I think this really ends off, you know, just the Pulse reacts for The Voice incredibly well. You know, I think that, you know, just for what you're doing, I think you have a real big future.
Thank you.
You know, I think that with the 3-chair turn, I think that just with, you know, the uniqueness that you display, I think that that's going to be what defines you, you know? So I'm definitely excited to see what you become. You know, I'm excited to see just the heights that you climb, and also the fact that you want to know the back end. Like, you was like, I'm gonna be an entertainment lawyer to see what's going on. So the fact you understand that's a whole entire different level that people don't tap into because they want the clout.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you want understanding of how to do this, and that's gonna take you further than anything, for real. So I'm proud of you. I think you are amazing, and yes, and I can't wait to connect with you more.
I was about to say, I can't wait to see what you do too.
Thank you. Like at this point, I feel like American Idol hates me at this point. Like I feel like Blake is like, who is this guy with no haircut on this AAC post show? He gonna ask Victor, who is this guy? And Nick Jones like, who is this guy? You know, but in general, just we love to see it. There's so much, you know, there's just black magic on there, black girl magic, black boy draw, all this different stuff going on. So one last thing, so everybody where they can find you on social media.
Okay, so Instagram and Twitter is at Denisha K. Dalton. TikTok, because that's the thing, is your girl Niche with 2 H's.
Look, like, man, listen, that ends it right there. Go follow her on TikTok. I mean, and I want to say this too. This is breaking news because I was looking through our post we did. I used to really hate TikTok. I have become liberal to TikTok. I think TikTok is fine. Like, I think like TikTok, I get it. I think there's a lot of funny stuff on TikTok. We posted more TikToks on Pulse. We had Raymond Beats that Ramon Beats that did the battle of the DJs. He's the second most followed DJ on TikTok. Yes. You've seen him before. You definitely seen him before. He's done a lot of good mixes. So, you know, I think that TikTok is a great, you know, way to just expand. I think it's another tool in the arsenal. You know, so like I just
have popped off just from TikTok being like the little sounds of their songs.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I'm more open to it now, you know what I'm saying, than I was. But I did look at it like, you know, people were trying to switch away from the Facebook monopoly so quickly. And also just the aspect of, you know, the shadow banning of the hashtags, and then they explained what happened. But that was something where, you know, we were big on that. So I'm someone that I grow, you know what I'm saying? And I like to seek understanding. So you're not gonna stay in one place. So I definitely see TikTok as a lane. So we're gonna follow you on TikTok and see what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? But outside of that, that is it. Thank you so much, Denisha, and we're definitely gonna tap in more later for sure.
Thank you. I'll talk to you later.
All right.
Bye.
Talk to you later.